The first sign was a darkness that seemed to cling to me, an almost tangible presence that I couldn't quite shake off. It started subtly, like a shadow lengthening with the setting sun, creeping into my life without warning. But it grew, day by day, until it felt like a suffocating weight pressing down on my chest, making it hard to breathe. I was tired all the time, drained of energy, as if my very soul was being sapped away. My once vibrant world turned gray and lifeless, colors fading into a dull monotony. My family noticed the change, their eyes filled with concern and confusion. I was withdrawn, irritable, a stranger in my own skin, lashing out at those I loved. They attributed it to stress, to the pressures of life and the game, thinking it was just a phase. But I knew deep down that it was something more, something darker and more insidious. Something sinister had taken root within me, twisting my thoughts, my words, my very essence. Sleep offered no escape from this torment. Nightmares plagued me, vivid and terrifying, each one more horrifying than the last. I would wake up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding, the feeling of unseen eyes watching me linger long after the dream had faded into the darkness. Fear, raw and primal, became my constant companion, a shadow that never left my side. Our small community was a tapestry woven with threads of faith and tradition, each thread representing a story, a belief, a whisper passed down through generations. People spoke in hushed tones about the unseen world, a realm where darkness dwelled and malevolent forces lurked, waiting for the right moment to strike. When my condition worsened, whispers of something more sinister began to circulate, spreading like wildfire through the close-knit community. My aunt, a devout woman steeped in the folklore of our ancestors, was the first to voice her concerns, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. She saw the darkness in my eyes, the way I flinched at the slightest touch, and recognized the signs that others might have missed. It was she who first whispered the word possession, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and conviction, a word that sent shivers down my spine. At first I dismissed her words as superstition, a relic of an older, less enlightened time. But as the days turned into weeks and my condition deteriorated, doubt gnawed at the edges of my skepticism, making me question everything I thought I knew. Could there be some truth to the ancient tales, to the possibility of a darkness so profound that it could consume a soul, leaving nothing but an empty shell? The whispers grew louder, fueled by my erratic behavior and the increasingly bizarre events that seemed to plague me, events that defied logical explanation. Objects moved on their own, as if guided by an unseen hand. I would hear voices, disembodied and menacing, whispering my name in the dead of night, filling me with a dread I couldn't shake. Fear, once a whisper, became a deafening roar, a constant companion that haunted my every waking moment and invaded my dreams. The decision to seek an exorcism wasn't made lightly. It was a choice born out of sheer desperation, a final attempt to reclaim my life from the clutches of an unseen, malevolent force that had taken hold. It was a last resort, a desperate attempt to reclaim my life from the clutches of whatever had taken hold. The nights had grown darker, filled with unexplainable terrors, and the days were no better, shrouded in a fog of dread. My family, torn between their love for me and their fear of the unknown, finally agreed. They had seen the changes in me, the way my eyes seemed to lose their light, and the way my voice carried an unfamiliar edge. We sought guidance from our parish priest, a kind and gentle man who had always been a source of comfort. His words had always been a balm to our troubled souls, but now even he seemed uncertain. But even he seemed shaken by the darkness he saw in my eyes. His usual calm demeanor was replaced with a look of deep concern, as if he could sense the malevolence that had taken root within me. He spoke of ancient rituals, of battles fought against unseen enemies, and of the power of faith to overcome even the most insidious evil. His words were both a warning and a promise, a testament to the strength of belief. Arrangements were made, shrouded in secrecy and urgency. The gravity of the situation demanded swift action, and there was no time to waste. A renowned exorcist, Father Michael, was summoned from a distant city. His name was whispered with reverence and fear, a man known for his unwavering faith and unyielding resolve. His reputation preceded him, a man of unwavering faith and unflinching resolve, said to have faced down the darkest of entities. Stories of his past battles were legendary, filled with accounts of triumph over the most malevolent forces. The air crackled with anticipation as we awaited his arrival. Every tick of the clock seemed to echo the pounding of our hearts, each second stretching into an eternity. Fear hung heavy in the air, a palpable presence that seemed to suffocate any hope that remained. It was as if the very walls were closing in, pressing down on us with the weight of our collective dread. Father Michael arrived at dusk, a tall, imposing figure with eyes that seemed to hold the weight of 1,000 prayers. He exuded an aura of quiet strength, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. A small group of family and close friends gathered in our home, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and hope. My parents clung to each other, their faces pale and drawn. My aunt, her eyes filled with tears, clutched a rosary, her lips moving in silent prayer. Father Michael spoke to me, his voice calm and reassuring. He asked about the darkness, about the nightmares, about the feeling of being watched. I answered in a voice that didn't sound like my own, a voice filled with a chilling detachment. He listened patiently, his gaze never wavering. Then, with a sigh, he nodded grimly.
It's time to confront the darkness.
The air grew thick with incense as Father Michael prepared for the ritual. He moved with a practiced grace, his voice a soothing balm against the growing unease in the room.
The living room, once a place of warmth and laughter, was transformed into a sacred space. Candles flickered, casting dancing shadows on the walls. A crucifix hung above the mantel, a stark reminder of the spiritual battle about to unfold.
I was seated in a chair in the center of the room, my body trembling uncontrollably. Strong hands held me down, but it was the fear that truly bound me, a suffocating terror that threatened to consume me whole.
Father Michael, his face illuminated by the flickering candlelight, began to pray. His words, spoken in an ancient tongue, filled the room, their power resonating deep within my bones. The air crackled with unseen energy, a palpable tension that sent shivers down my spine.
The exorcism was a blur of terror and confusion. I remember Father Michael's voice, a steady presence amidst the chaos, commanding the darkness to leave my body. I remember the searing pain, like 1,000 needles piercing my skin, as if something was being ripped from my very core.
And I remember the voice, no longer my own, contorted with rage and despair, spewing forth obscenities and threats. It mocked Father Michael, challenged his faith, and promised unimaginable horrors if he continued.
But Father Michael never faltered. His voice, though strained, remained firm. He prayed with unwavering conviction, his words like weapons against the darkness that had taken root within me.
The battle raged for what felt like an eternity. The room shook with unseen force. Objects flew across the room, and through it all the voice within me screamed its defiance, clinging to me with a desperate fury.
Then, as suddenly as it began, the struggle ceased. The room fell silent, the only sound the soft crackle of the candles and the ragged gasps of my breath. The oppressive weight that had burdened me for so long lifted, replaced by an unfamiliar lightness. I looked around the room, my vision clearing, and saw the faces of my loved ones, their expressions a mixture of relief and awe.
It is over. The darkness has been vanquished.
The aftermath of the exorcism was a slow and arduous journey of healing. The physical and emotional scars ran deep, a constant reminder of the battle that had been fought within me. I struggled to reconcile the terrifying memories with the reality of my newfound freedom. The world seemed both familiar and alien, as if I was seeing it for the first time. Sleep was fitful, haunted by fleeting images and whispers from the darkness.
He spoke of the power of faith, of the importance of forgiveness, and of the resilience of the human spirit.
Slowly, tentatively, I began to rebuild my life. The shadows that had haunted me receded, replaced by a glimmer of hope. The world regained its color, and the laughter that had been silenced returned, hesitant at first, but growing stronger with each passing day. The exorcism had a profound impact on my faith, shaking it to its core. It forced me to confront questions I had never considered, to delve into the depths of my own beliefs and grapple with the nature of good and evil. I realized that faith wasn't about blind acceptance or unquestioning obedience. It was about seeking truth, even in the face of fear and uncertainty. It was about finding strength in vulnerability and hope in the darkest of times. The experience left me with a profound sense of gratitude for the preciousness of life and the importance of human connection. It taught me that even in the face of unimaginable darkness, the human spirit has the capacity for extraordinary resilience and the power to overcome even the most daunting challenges. Looking back, I see the exorcism not as a singular event but as a turning point, a catalyst for profound personal growth and spiritual awakening. It was a harrowing ordeal, one that tested the limits of my strength and faith, but it also liberated me, freeing me from the grip of fear and empowering me to reclaim my life. The experience taught me that true strength lies not in denying the darkness, but in confronting it head-on. It taught me that faith is not about clinging to dogma, but about embracing the unknown with courage and compassion. And most importantly, it taught me that the greatest power we possess is the power within ourselves, the power to choose hope over despair, love over fear, and to embrace the messy, beautiful complexity of being human.